What's up, people? Welcome back to Invest with T Claus. My name is Tevi, and this channel is dedicated to my investment journey, along with coverage on crypto, Tesla, Neo, Virgin Galactic, and ChargePoint. Come for the information and stay for the perspective. So I haven't covered the Riot Platform stock since last month, and there has been a few things happening with the company. Bitcoin is down just over 7% over the past month, and Riot Platform has followed suit. The stock is down 13% for the week with a close of $9.55. But if you step back a bit and look at the previous month performance, it's more like 10%, so we're starting to level up a bit. As I said, we've had a few things transpire which plays into the stock underperformance. And that always leads to the same question. Is it time to bail, or could this be an opportunity? And so in today's video, I'll go over the latest news around the stock, then take a look at the current consensus analyst ratings to get a feel for sentiment, and I'll close with where I now personally stand as far as buying, holding, or selling. As always, this is not to be taken as financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is my personal approach to investing and the thought process behind it. I recommend watching all the way through so that you don't miss out on anything pertinent I will be sharing. Drop the video an early like if you haven't already, and smash that subscribe button. Those are two easy ways to show your support to the channel and help it grow if you appreciate the content. All right, let's get into it. It seems that every time I talk about the Riot Platform stock, the price of Bitcoin is hovering around the $64,000 mark. This was true right before the halving. It was true in my following video post-halving. It was true in my last video. Check it out here if you missed it. And it is true today as well as I record this. The lack of upward momentum in Bitcoin has translated over to the Riot Platform and other Bitcoin mining stocks. On Riot Platform specifically, we have been consolidating around this $10 mark for over a month. Besides the price of Bitcoin being range-bound and fairly stagnant, the one thing that has been weighing on the stock is short interest. You may have seen the report released earlier this month from short seller firm Kerrisdale Capital. The firm claims, and I quote, "Like other US-listed miners, Riot's biz model is a dysfunctional hamster wheel of cash burn, which is why it loots retail shareholders with a non-stop at-the-market issuance to fund operations. Even with Bitcoin near all-time high, post-halving, Riot's mining operation, or ops, aren't profitable," end of quote. So they go on to say some other not so nice things, but ultimately make the claim that Riot will not be around in the coming years. The claim of them not being profitable is downright incorrect, and you can catch my last video here on the earning results. But nonetheless, the Riot stock took a pretty heavy hit by falling down to $8.94 before recovering to where we are now as a result of that report. Now, if you take a look at short interest in the April to May timeframe, you can see an increase of around 50% in the amount of shares shorted from 34 million to 50 million. I suspect that that number is still pretty elevated in June, but you can see that they positioned themselves, and I'm sure a few others, ahead of the report released to capitalize on it. That, of course, is not illegal. That's just the name of the game. So that's what pushed us down. Now, the recovery, or at least let's say the price stabilization, came on the back of the Bitcoin production update Riot provided for the month of May. As you would expect, May was the first full month of production post-halving, and production is down as a result. They produced 215 Bitcoin, which is down both on a month-over-month basis and a year-over-year basis. That's 43% and 68% respectively. But you can also see that the energized hash rate now sits at 14.7 exahash per second. That has increased both on a month-over-month basis with 17% and year-over-year basis with 39%. A couple of other important highlights: the 26% increase in Bitcoin held on a year-over-year basis, all while none were sold now for 2 months in a row. This is while also increasing power credit revenue to $7.3 million, representing a 244% increase on a month-over-month basis and 160% increase on a year-over-year basis. That is massive and should not be discounted, right? The bottom line here, and what this all boils down to, is simply this. Riot Platform, thanks to its diversified portfolio, has been able to nearly compensate for the revenue loss that came from the Bitcoin production decrease by increasing the revenue it generates from the power credit. Again, I would not dismiss that. It's also worth noting that with a deployed hash rate of 14.7 exahash per second, Riot Platform is nearly at the halfway point to a goal of 31.5 exahash by year end. So they are on track and actually slightly ahead, since those are May numbers. We'll get the June numbers in early July. So as long as they keep the current pace, Bitcoin production should return to pre-halving levels by the end of Q3. Remember that we closed 2023 with 12.4 exahash per second and are expected to reach 27.1 exahash per second in Q3 this year. Now, regarding sentiment broadly around the stock, I have to say that it has been interesting looking at the recent headlines. They are mostly positive, right? The company is often listed as a stock to hold for gains anywhere between 2x to 100x by 2025. The most recent article that I read reads 3 stocks that can turn $100 into $10,000. That's pretty bullish. And so looking at the analyst ratings, we have a consensus rating of a strong buy with the following breakdown. 10 buy ratings. That's it. 10 buy ratings, 0 hold, 0 sell, just 10 buy ratings. Meaning that those covering the stock are pretty much yelling at us at this point to buy this stock, right? I mean, it is pretty obvious. But anyways, the high end of the range has dropped a bit lower at now $23 versus $25.50 prior. The low end of the range also dropped to now $12 instead of $15.50. I'd attribute those adjustments to more mirror what we are seeing in the market today than anything else, right? Either way, even the low end represents a 20% upside. The average consensus price target sits at $18. This represents an 88.48% increase from the current level and over double when we reach the top end of the current range. I would not recommend taking these ratings lightly, especially given their unanimous nature. And so with that in mind, how am I now thinking about the Riot stock? Am I a buyer? Am I a seller? Or am I just holding? A few things that come to mind when I think about this stock. Riot Platform performance to date and the latest monthly snapshot on Bitcoin production, along with the infrastructure expansion, show that they are on the right track. The short selling news has spooked a few people, but guess what? Short sellers purposely put out those type of reports to drive price lower in order to capitalize. That's all pretty standard practice here, okay? Now, that particular firm did the same thing with MicroStrategy and raked in millions as a result. There are multiple strategies out there, and you just got to be aware of it so you can navigate around it. At the end of the day, we have now been consolidating in the $9 to $11 range since May, and let's not forget that Riot Platform has been actively buying up shares from competitor Bitfarm over the same period of time by increasing their shareholding from 10% to now 14%. The goal, of course, is to ultimately acquire Bitfarm, right? The reason they're able to pursue this is because of the substantial cash reserves they have. And again, important note here, they have not had to sell any Bitcoin to fund this. Also worth noting that completing this acquisition would make Riot Platform the largest Bitcoin mining company in the world and instantly boost their mining capacity to levels greater than pre-Bitcoin halving. And so to answer the question, really what it all comes down to is simply this. I am a buyer and will be adding further to my position in the coming weeks. I've said this before, but it's worth saying again. I do fully expect the price of Bitcoin to reach a new all-time high in the coming 6 to 12 months. The Riot stock will follow suit by matching or eclipsing its own previous all-time high. Therefore, buying the Riot stock at this lower entry point is a great opportunity in my book. That's just my opinion. And if, like me, you're a value-minded investor with a longer time horizon that extends into 2025, this is the play. That's just my opinion, but I stand by it. But on that note, that is it for me today. If you found value in my content, click that like button and share with others who you think could also benefit from it. And if you feel so inclined, use the thanks button at the bottom of the screen and send a little something my way. For my newcomers, subscribe. It's free, and don't forget to ring the notification bell so that you too can stay in the know. I'll be back on Sunday for my weekly video and possibly during the week for an extra one. Till then, you can keep up with me here on Twitter for crypto and NFT related news. Thank you for watching, stay humble, hustle hard, and I'll see you in the next one.